Okay, so let's solve some problem on case statement. Write a query to display for each order the account ID, total amount of the order, and the level of the order, whether it's large or small, depending on if the order is 3,000 or more, or smaller than 3,000. Okay, so if the order is 3,000 or more, we are going to write a case statement that will give it a large. If it's less than 3,000, it will give it a small. Okay, to start writing, we say select account ID. Okay, so look at the first column, the account ID. Then the next thing we have there is going to be total amount, the total amount of the order, which is total amount USD. So the next column there will be a case statement. So we say case, we enter the next line and just hit up, and then we said when total amount. So the case here is when total amount USD is greater than 3,000, we want it to display large. So if it's not greater than 3,000, we just use else statement. Else, I want it to display small. So once you're done, you end your case statement with n. Okay, we just end it, and from which table? From orders table. From orders. Okay, so you just run the query. Okay, so why is showing red is underlined red is because we didn't set this. So let's just set this to patch and POSIT database. So you can notice the red line is not there again. So let's just highlight it and run the query, execute. Okay, so our query has been executed. So we can see the account ID column. We have the total amount USD, and this column is the case statement region. So we can let's just rename that column n as level. Let's just call it level of. Remember, you don't need to give a space. Without that, you're going to have an error. So we just say level of order. Okay, so we end as level of the order. So the way you have no column name here, we will now have level of order. So let's just highlight and run again. See what we have. Okay, you can now see that we have named that column as level of the order. Okay, so we can see from here that we have the total amount USD at 973.43, and it's less than this 3,000. That is why we have the level of the order as small. Okay, so let's just we want to order this. Let's order this so that we can have a view of the level of order that is large. So let's just order this by. Let's order it by the total amount USD. Order by total amount USD, and then we'll do descending. I mean, we want to see the largest total amount USD. We want to have a view of it. So we have order by. Okay, so we can now run it now. Okay, so we can now see our level of order now is now large because we have now ordered this by total amount USD descending. So we now see the largest number and largest total amount USD, which is 232,207. So it is above 3,000, and that's why you have the level of the order as large. So we have solved that problem. So let's get to the next problem. Okay. Now this question is, so we would like to understand 3 different levels of customer based on the amounts associated with their purchases. So based on the amount of their purchases, we'll get to understand these 3 different customers. So the third level includes anyone with a lifetime value, which is a total sales of all order. So the lifetime value, which is the total sales of all order greater than 200,000 USD. And the second level of the customer will be between 2,000 and 1,000 USD. And now the lowest level is anyone under 100 USD. Now provide a table that includes the level associated with each account. Okay, so you should provide the account name. So that is the things that we'll see, the columns that will be included, which is going to be you should provide the account name, the total sales of all orders for the customers, and the level. Order with the top spending customer listed first. So you are going to order it by the customer listed first. So let's start writing the query for this problem. So we say select account name, comma, and then let's say the total sales of all orders. So we are going to say sum. We're going to sum the total sales, total amount USD, total amount USD, and then we are going to call it as total sales of the orders, and then we'll click on the comma. So the next column will be a case statement. So we just click on tab, So now our case statement will be when sum, that is the total amount USD, when the total amount USD is greater than 200,000, and then we say it should display top. Okay, so we can see from the question, the top level include anyone with a lifetime value, which is the total sales of order greater than 200,000 USD. Okay, so that's why we say when some total amount USD is greater than 200,000, then it should display top. The next case is when some total amount USD okay, the next case is the second level is between 200 and 100,000. Okay, so we say we can, in this case we can use greater than is equal to, or we can use between. Okay, so let's just use between. Is between 200,000 and 400,000, and then you want it to display middle. So if these two conditions does not meet, you say else you want it to display low. So if it's less than 1,000, it will display low. If it's between 200,000 and 1,000, it will display middle. So if the total amount USD is greater than 200,000, it will display top. So once you are done with your case statement, you end it as, you can say, you can name it as customer level. Okay, we're getting to know the customer level. So from the question, we are to categorize these three different customer into these three different level, okay, which is the top, the middle, and the low, okay, based on their total amount USD. Okay, so if their total amount USD is greater than 200,000, it will be displayed top. If the total amount USD is between 200,000 and 200,000, it will be displayed middle. So if it's less than 100,000, it will be displayed low. Okay, so you end as customer level. Okay, so now from which table? We say from orders table. Now we are going to join two tables here. Okay, to get this problem, we are going to join two tables, because the question here is needs us to join two tables together, which is the orders table and the account table, because the account table has the account ID. We don't have. If you look through your database, just come over here. We will have the person. This is how to get it right. Okay, so now that they have mentioned account name, you just come here and check your tables and the columns. Okay, just come here over and check to, you see the orders table. We don't have account name in order table, and if you just run it like this from orders, you are not going to get the right information. And you can see from your query here, the account name is underlined, which shows that this account name is not contained in orders table. Okay, so to get it right, you need to join account table here, and once you join the account table here, this red line you will not see it again. So if you open through the account table over here, just click on the plus sign, come over to the column, you'll see the account name over here. This is the account name. Okay, so it's underlining account name, is showing that account name is not contained in order. So from orders, we are going to join from orders, join account on orders dot. I explained in the other video how you can join two tables together. You join two tables based on related columns. Okay, so account ID relates to account ID in the orders table relates to ID in the accounts table. Okay, so in the account table we have a column called ID. So this ID corresponds to the account ID in the orders table. Okay, so you can notice now that once we finish joining the orders and the account table together, you notice now that this account name is not underlined red again. Okay, which shows that what you are doing now is right. Okay, so we have successfully joined the account. So we can now say, let's group this by Remember, you're not going to group by the aggregate function. You just want to group by using this account name. Just copy there and paste. Group by account name. And let's say we just want to order. Let's order by customer level. Or let's just call order by this total sales of the order. So we can have a view of the largest and we can have a view of the top, the middle, and the low. So we order by the total sales. Okay, so we just want to say, we want to see the highest total amount USD. So we just order it by total sales of the order, which we rename over here. You can see the sum of total amount USD. We rename it as total sales of the order. So we want to sort it by total sales of the order descending. So that we'll have a view of the total amount USD. Okay, so let's just highlight and run and see what we have. Okay, so we can now see our code run successfully. So we can now see the account name over here. So let me just, okay. So we can now see the account name over here, EOG resources, which made the highest sales. So the total sales of the order was 382,873.30, and the customer level was top. Okay, so if you scroll down, you see low, which is less than 100,000, you see a list of, okay, so we had top and low. There was no middle, okay? We have top and low. Okay, so we have solved that problem. So now let's get to another problem so that we get to understand more. Okay, so here's another question. So the next question is, the company wants to appreciate all their sales reps that made sales above their target. So assuming their target was 200,000 in 2016, produce a table to showcase the qualified sales rep and congratulate them while encouraging others to sit up. Okay, so to solve this problem, we are going to join both the orders table and the account table, and we also join the sales rep tables in order to get this question correct. Okay, to start with, we say select sales rep name. Select sales rep name. We say sum. Select sales rep name. Sum total amount USD. We call it total sales. And then we use a case statement. Case. So the first case is when total amount USD is greater than and is equal to 100,000. That's the target. Then we want it to display congratulations. So the next condition is else. If it does not meet the target, we want it to display sit up or be fired. Sit up or be fired. So we are going to end this statement. End this statement as remark. And then from where? From which table? Orders table. Okay, so since the sales rep name is not in the orders table, we have to join it with account table, and also we join it with the sales rep table. Okay, so we say from orders, join account on orders.account ID is equal to account.id. Now join sales rep table on account.sales rep ID is equal to sales rep.id. Now we are done joining these three tables. So where we want to filter the year 2016. So we say where year occurred at is equal to 2016. So we are going to group by sales rep name over here. Just copy and paste over here sales rep name. And then we want to order by remark. So let's just run this query and see what we got. Okay, so we had a little error somewhere, so let's fix it. The total amount USD here is underscore. Okay, so I guess that is fixed. Let's run our query again. Okay, so we can now see from our results over here, we have our sales rep name over here, and we have the total sales that he made and the remark congratulations. So Mitchell Woodford made a total sales of 251,211.79, and he was congratulated because he made the target over 200,000. So if we go down, you see others that made less than 200,000, and like we have Babette Shuko having a total sales of 171,270.32, and the remark is sit up or be fired. Sit up or be fired. Okay, so we have solved this problem on case statements. See you in the next video where I'll be talking about operators.